I wonder if we're going to see a raw ban here in game number 2. Keep in mind, it's a best of 3. So should Aquarius and the rest of Most Wanted really win this one, that'll be that. So Noble trying to stretch it to 3 games in total. First ban coming out from Noble. Like I said, I'm really curious to see if they adapt their pick ban to this strategy.
I wouldn't be surprised if Noble don't ban the Ra and first pick it themselves.
Okay.
Picking up the Ao Kuang from Mirage was a good idea in the long run, but they didn't get to that late game form that they really needed for Mirage to get there. But they're going to respect the soul on DayToRemeber instead.
So a lot of times, seeing things from the top down, you know, in the caster position is a lot different. For me, that game was Erlang, Shen, Ra, and even Shock.
Yes.
Right? I think that really was what ran the game. But for Noble in the trenches playing the game, that dual lane really must have been an issue. DayToRemeber just locking down Wowy, because at the end of the day, that's what we didn't mention Wowy too much at all. And that Rom having less of an impact, that's probably because Soul was able to control.
Soul is very easy to play in the laning phase. You just stellar burst the lane. You don't really have to put yourself in an overextended position. The Disapparate saved her life, being able to get out of that important Odin cage. So as a result, the Soul ban, it was pretty important here, as we also saw that Wowy was 2 levels behind DayToRemeber, 14 versus 60 at one point in the game. So right off the bat, Ra is going to get first pick by Noble.
Yeah, so the Ra will go the other way. Jing will be the selection out of Most Wanted. We'll see how that one works out with the physical hunter. Erlang Shen. Saw him in support last time around. Likely to be the same case. He looked very strong there.
You never know. Still could be a flex pick potential, and it gives the confusion factor for Noble, right? You never really know where this Erlang Shen is going to go. So going to pick up the Sobek for now. I like this idea because it's another good setup potentially. The pluck into the snipe is pretty straightforward. Nothing more straightforward than that off of, unless it's an Athena taunt or the Ymir freeze. Either way, it's going to be nice, especially considering that it's going to be Wubbn playing the Sobek. Could be a flex, though, for Whalrus.
That's true. And the Thor is just going to be even more set up. We saw how well that worked out on the other side with Plazma. When he did hit the ultimate, he was able to set up ManRay on the Ra, so we'll certainly see that one. Last pick for Most Wanted, that's for Barracuda. And the Agni is going to be for the mid laner. That's going to be for Mr. Not Whalp, it's going to be for ManRay this time around.
ManRay,
I have Whalp still on my notes, but ManRay made a huge impact in game number 1. We'll see how it works out in game number 2.
Absolutely. The snipes were just too real, I would say, out of ManRay the first game. Second game, playing the Agni, it's not going to be the same snipe montage. You know, bombs are a lot easier to hit than the snipes, and that's why you have 3 of them on Agni. It's going to be very important for how he spaces out these bombs and if he hits the right target, because yesterday when we saw, I think it was Cyclone against Elevate, where it was Callus playing the Athena, Dardus playing the Sobek, and every time Dardus initiated with the pluck, he would get Agni bomb stun, but he had so much damage mitigation between his spear robe and I think Height of the Urchin that it just tickled him.
It really did. Last band's coming out. Red Tasker now Kwang banned out, so they're looking towards the jungle for Most Wanted, and Freya and Ram going to be the bands coming out from Most Wanted towards Noble. They've got an eye at DayToRemeber, which I would agree with. And the jungler, Plazma,
Bastet,
going a completely different direction. We saw him go setup man on the Plazma. This time around, he's going to be all about that damage. Bastet going to be the selection.
Well, when you got the damage, or you got the setup rather onto ManRay, you have to have the damage elsewhere. So I like the idea. Sneaky picking this Bastet, man. I'm telling you, I like to see this nowadays, because the way DJ Pernicus was playing it, I think it was in Group B, that was just absolutely disgusting, because he went 8 for 8. He did not lose a single game playing the Bastet. There was even some bans against the Bastet for him.
Bastet has always been a fantastic character in my eyes, because I like characters that give you options, right? And Bastet is the quintessential play. I guess Thor is the quintessential play option character, but Bastet gives you that selection where, all right, you're going to start off and I'm just a straight assassin. I scale at 100% on almost all my abilities up until recently, and we're going to see how much damage I can do. If I get into trouble and my team's falling behind, I can split push. If my team's ahead, I can invade. There's a lot of different things that Bastet can bring to the table. All of them are relevant at any point in the game. She is a little bit front-loaded in the sense that she wants to deal, or she wants to really affect the game more so in the early and mid game. So that is her sort of downside, if you will. But at the end of the day, I love the type of diversion and different directions that Bastet can go into.
Oh, Aquarius, he got stunned against the wall. That's going to be first first blood credited to
come on,
Mirage. Both teams were electing to group up as 5, but they got caught out of position because they saw Aduro at the tail end of Noble's squad, and they all got baited out underneath, and as a result, Aquarius was the last man standing. So that's going to be a rough time now, I think, for Plazma.
I mean, Aquarius right there, he wins the game last game. By himself.
That's true.
He walks in a base as Chalk and wins the game. He wins the end of that team fight. And then in the beginning of the next game, he just gets solo smoked.
Well, he didn't level an ability. He could have potentially maybe tried to use clear the path just to be able to get away from that. He could have maybe used his dash going underneath just to avoid that important first blood. It would have hurt his clear a little bit in terms of clearing that speed and blue buff, but not giving up first blood would have been a huge important factor, especially considering it went towards Mirage and a Thor that gets any sort of momentum behind him, especially when you pair that up with a Raw in the mid lane. It's going to be very difficult for Most Wanted now.
And that's sort of what I was talking about is ManRay dashes aggressively. One of the sort of sins that you don't do as an Agni, but level 2, it's forgivable. Mirage on this Thor, also sort of a quintessential play option character like the Bastet. Thor can be a single-handed carry if he gets ahead, and that's certainly what we're looking at.
And we see Mirage make an aggressive play, able to steal away one of those Harpies, it seems, and that's going to be very important as the left side mid Harpies will be contested soon. Should be hitting level 3 momentarily. In the solo lane, the Whalrus playing this Ravana against Vamana on Aquarius. Still having a little bit of a difficult time, though.
How does this matchup go? In general, we see Vamana win lanes pretty early because of his clear, but Ravana generally always wants to fight. So how are you expecting this one to go?
Well, we should see Whalrus be able to control the matchup early on, but he doesn't have that much more health pots remaining, whereas we see Aquarius with 3 health pots, 2 multi-pots, and that's going to be a big important factor, especially considering Whalrus went for the Wrath and not the teleport. So if he gets poked out like this, he's going to probably miss out on some golden experience. Aquarius will stay here for a long time.
So, jokes aside about the first blood, talk to me about what you've seen out of Aquarius. That's one of the more exciting things that we get to see out of the Gauntlet is, when you watch the Challenger Cup, Mirage looking to make the gank early on at level 4, but Aquarius playing it relatively safe. When you watch the Challenger Cup, you get to see just a slew of players, but here in the Gauntlet, these are the players that have proven themselves. Give us the scout, give us the lowdown on how you feel, being a solo laner yourself, about Aquarius.
I would say that he's been doing a decent job. He hasn't been making any highlight plays. He's been where he needs to be positionally, right? He hasn't been making any sneaky plays in terms of invades, but he's been very safe, which is what you really want out of your solo laner this day and age. You don't want to have an all-star solo laner. You want somebody that's going to be able to transition into teamfights in the mid to late game at a very good pace, right? And as a result of the last game, the way he played the Shock, surviving that initial first gank, I got to give him like an A+ for that one.
All right, very exciting. Aquarius has been a big impact in this game, but Most Wanted has really been approaching it from a team level, which I think is very important. Noble, however, they have their, I think this is their sort of highlight dual lane. Wubbn and Wowy, the double W, they get their Sobek and their Anhur. This is the lane that Noble has been very successful with. This is the lane that the individuals here, both Wubbn and Wowy, they enjoy these characters. I'm expecting them to fight and fight often and early because this is exactly, if you ask Noble what they want in their dual lane, I think this is what they'd answer with.
And they could absolutely try to abuse NikHaro. They could potentially burst him down before that sustain comes out from his ultimate when he does find that taunt. This is about a 4-second timing window before that sustain does pop. And that's very easy for a Sobek and an Anhur to do between the damage coming out of both of their ultimates.
Yeah, so we'll see if that's the direction that they elect to go in. Noble not being too aggressive just yet. No invades. But the right side Gremlins look like they go to Most Wanted. This time around, Noble's still off to a strong start, but it's just the 500 gold from the first blood, which is different from last time. Noble was able to amass almost 1,000 gold. It was about 800 gold in the lead, just from pure farming, from a pure farming standpoint. Most Wanted able to snatch some of the Harpies, etc. This time around, a little bit more even.
And now we see Aquarius with a 1-level lead, but now at the right side mid Harpies, we see the Javelin toss. I'm not sure if that really stole one or not, but either way, both teams really wanting to try to go for an engage. There's a lot of setup between both of these teams. Thor, Sobek trying to set up a Duro on the Raw, whereas the Agni onto ManRay, along with the Erlang Shen. But hold that thought, it's going to be a pluck onto NikHaro.
And there's the damage, and the cat's coming out from Plazma, and the damage all the way down the middle. Wubbn's going to be the one suffering this time around. NikHaro on the good side. Mirage gonna miss, and there's the ultimate out of Wowy. Nice dodge and weave,
the
not
bomb!
gonna be enough. But here comes the aggro play out of everybody else. ManRay looking for one more shot, can't find it on the Mirage.
Not going to be able to find it, and now Plazma able to pounce on back the speed buff from Mirage, giving him the mobility that he really needed to get away from that one. Aduro trying to secure his own red buff. Doesn't look like Most Wanted got that, so great job from Aduro. So overall, that was a 1-for-1 trade, but I think that Most Wanted got the better end of that one.
Yeah, Most Wanted wind up getting the kill, and that's going to be the good side of things. But I want to talk again about just evaluation, because that's, like we said, when you come into this, you sort of expect the SPL team to win this, no disrespect to the Challenger Cup team. But just looking at what Most Wanted were able to do there, right? So they get the kill, and then they unfortunately drop 2 kills. There were 2 players there that had 1 shot away, and Most Wanted just couldn't find it. ManRay actually specifically dropped a kill, just being inaccurate. But I love the presence of mind for Most Wanted to go for the red buff. Aduro did confirm it, but understanding, all right, we chased those 2 players out. A kill is not always what you need to get the dominance, so they chased the 2 players out and realized they have the presence of mind to go for the red buff. These are the small things that I look at as a broadcaster that tell me that your team is practiced and understands the game at a little bit higher level.
And I'm seeing a lot of confidence coming out of Most Wanted as a result. They're not afraid to make these plays. They recognize that there is always that little bit of risk, but the reward is so much greater than the risk involved. So it's a very calculated risk coming out of Most Wanted. And as a result now, looking at the duel lane, we do see that 1 level disparity from DayToRemeber. Wow, we just now hitting level 8, so we could see potential gank, though Plazma making the rotation. The kitties are dropped.
And Whalrus is going to take a bunch of poke. Not going to be too slow there, but unfortunately for Most Wanted this time around, Noble have the Ra. They're going to be able to heal up. And it's not just about the heal, Toli. I think Aduro is a nasty Ra. We saw ManRay do very big things with help from the Erlang Shen. Aduro's going to be able to do some of those things without any help at all, so...
The difference, though, is the fact that ManRay did go for the Doomer, but now NikHaro caught in an awkward spot, taking a little bit of poke, not too much, though. Trying to go into Mirage, did force out his ultimate, though. NikHaro still trying to bait a little bit. He's going to use that turtle form, barely escaping that ultimate from Mirage, but now getting dove from Whalrus. His ultimate was too late.
And Mirage gets the last hit, but Aduro contributes heavily. Aquarius now stuck out 1 by 1. Mirage gets the kill, and all the way from the west side, Wowy shows up, jumping, just kind of saying hello. Not able to really impact the fight whatsoever, but he rotates quicker than the Jing way, so that's something worth noting. 4-1, Noble off to a tear here. I think they're a little upset that they lost game number 1. They get a first blood in a kind of embarrassing way before the game even begins, and the 3 kills that happen after the fact are just off of pure aggression.
So with that kind of a heavy rotation in the solo lane, we could potentially see Most Wanted go for the Gold Fury here. The snipe is not available for Aduro. The kitties are about to come up for Plazma, and I'm surprised that that's not something that they have been exploring a little bit more often here. They could look for the kitties just to be able to tank up the Gold Fury, look for a lot of damage there. Now, that last engagement, NikHaro was the primary target there, but he didn't respect the danger. He didn't really use his ultimate early enough to get that health bubble back up.
I think there was an underestimation of the damage that was available from Noble there, from the guys on Most Wanted. NikHaro was a first casualty, and then, you know, we saw the secondary one come out of Aquarius. So I think Most Wanted are aware of the damage that Noble are going to deal. And we'll see if they're a little bit more careful because of it. I think this game is a little bit more representative of how Noble have played in the SPL. Game number 1 was decent. Like I said, I think Most Wanted won off of their own play skill, not the fact that Noble made any mistakes. But I think Noble are playing a little bit more aggressive here in game number 2, and that's more the style that Noble has found success when they have in the SPL.
They're trying to set up Aduro yet again with a stun, unfortunately running into too many members from Most Wanted. We're going to see a lot of contention around this Gold Fury. Obviously, Plazma having the kitties, Aduro having the snipe, along with Whalrus having that wrath, but he doesn't have teleport quite yet. He's now level 12, so if he wants to be around the Gold Fury, he's going to have to concede a wave or 2 around that solo lane, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's making the rotation on the left side of the map.
Yeah, this is going to be a full commit coming out from Noble, and like you said, without that teleport, Noble kind of show what they want to do, and there's all of the ultimates available. NikHaro show up, but the Wrath is good enough. Noble claim the first Gold Fury of the game. That catapults them to a 2,000 gold lead early on before the Fire Giant even spawns. and Most Wanted are looking up at Noble.
But despite the fact we see Aquarius sticking in the solo lane, but NikHaro using his ultimate, trying to get the bubble up, not there in time. It's going to be a free kill yet again from Noble. But in the meantime, his solo lane, we saw Aquarius split push that whole time. He got at least 500 gold for his team just to stay a little bit more relevant.
So I like this move out of ManRay very early on, buying the Divine Ruin. Agni's a great character when it comes to Divine Ruin. The ultimate is spread out amongst 3 separate hits with the bombs, so he's able to really spread out that anti-heal. He's one of the better mages, in my opinion, when it comes down to using that Divine Ruin. Buying it early, I think, is a good look as well.
The
nice stun. Mirage in trouble. Aduro answers back, doesn't kill ManRay, and here comes Aquarius from the backside.
He's trying to find the kill onto Mirage. He was a little low. Now Wubbn being able to charge prey yet again into safety. So it's going to be 2 members really low from Noble, but they get away cleanly in Most Wanted. They have nothing to really take off of this. The Gold Fury has already been taken away. They can't take away any buffs from Noble. So now Noble is the ones that controlling the pace of the game with their mid-jungle control.
Absolutely, and you know, one of the big differences here in game number 2 versus game number 1 is NikHaro. NikHaro has not had the same impact that he had in the first match, and sure, one of those things is the fact that NikHaro had somebody to set up for. Setting up a raw snipe is certainly going to be a little bit more impactful than setting up an Agni, but it's also Noble's just attention to shutting him down.
With NikHaro being the primary focus for all of Noble, he really needs to start investing into the Spirit's Robe immediately after finishing off this Height of the Urchin. I like the idea, trying to get those stacks up in these team fights, but they haven't been really winning these team fights, so it's going to be very difficult to get those extra physical and magical protections, whereas Spirit's Robe guarantees you that extra survivability. Every single time that Thor wall comes out, you're going to be getting 15% damage mitigation.
Here's my question, though, Anatoly, because I think that the Urchin was built in the right point in time. It was very early on, right? You build rank number 1, and then rank number 2 he builds, and that's when he starts getting focused really hard, and you might change your mind. Is it worth it to just hard switch and build a Spirit's Robe because it's going to be more effective now, or do you just, because you're already invested in it, finish up the Urchin?
At this point, it's too far to return. You've invested about 16 to 1700 gold on the tier 2 Urchin. It's only about 885 gold, I think it is, for the tier 3 finish off, and that's going to be a huge power spike for NikHaro just to get those extra physical defense, get that extra health online, and if he could find any stacks, that's going to be a big bonus. But now Aquarius is the primary focus alongside this tier 1 solo tower, but that does leave the mid exposed for Noble, and with Plazma having those kitties, not only could they get tier 1, but they could drop those kitties for tier 2 tower.
Yeah, we'll see if the Cats come down for the tier 1. Mirage is going to be the only one rotating, but right now it's a ton of damage either way. Now the 2-on-1 collapses. Plazma has to run away. Mirage going to look for the kill. Up in the sky, trying to find the target, pounces down, so Plazma can't get too sneaky.
Not wanting to commit though. Mirage backed off. He was too low. He was in the red. If he did commit onto that kill, he would have definitely got cleaned up 1 for 1. And that's a Thor player that's 1 level ahead of the Bastet. That's something that you definitely don't want to do. Just take the guaranteed escape.
12 minutes, just about 13 on the clock. Noble off to a much different start than in game number 1. Starting things off very early before minions even spawn. But they kept their foot on the gas this time around, and that's the Noble that we all know and love. And the ones that are going to keep staying aggressive. 3,000 gold in the lead, thanks to an early Gold Fury and a couple of early team fights. Most Wanted not going down without a fight, however. They've got 1 kill to themselves, and a couple of nifty plays that have been just barely too short. We've seen so many players on Noble escape with 10 HP. Even the tower play that they just tried to make, just barely not enough. That's the problem for Most Wanted this game, Totally, is the fact that they keep making these plays that are fair to decent, and then just barely not being able to pull the trigger.
And now we see a different style of the builds coming out of Aduro and ManRay between their Raw days, right? We saw the game 1 of ManRay playing the Raw was a glass cannon style with the Doom or with the Rada Tahuti, but Aduro going for a more utility style, want to be able to survive as long as possible, going for that Dynasty plate helmet, surviving against the all-in potential from Plazma, as well as going for this Errata of Asclepius, which is going to give him the mobility, the health pool, along with amplifying his healing for the rest of his teammates.
Which is interesting because normally I'm a big fan of utility Ra, but looking at the rest of the Noble composition, who's going to bring them into the late game? Anhur is, not the Roms or the Freyas of the world. Hold that, we'll continue our conversation about the composition after the fight on the Gold Fury. It's about half HP. Wubbn getting excited. NikHaro again is the target. Plazma jumps on the backside. Ton of damage on Mirage. He's going to try to escape with the ultimate, and he'll get out. The kill onto NikHaro is good enough. It's 1 for none. Most Wanted have control over the Gold Fury as far as the map is concerned. But again, Noble have the Ra. So they're able to just reset like it's not a big deal.
5 on 4, 15 seconds remaining for NikHaro to respawn. He doesn't have teleport, only level 11, and that would be very risky for support to invest into that second relic. A nice bomb, though, on the side from ManRay, forcing out another heal from Enduro.
And keep in mind, that bomb is blessed with Divine Ruin. So that heal's not going to be as effective, and that's what I was talking about. You don't have to go all in with the Agni to really deter the heal. And that one bomb alone, because of the Divine Ruin, is able to take Noble off of the Gold Fury.
Very important positioning there by ManRay, being able to shut down that one ability, that one bomb just forces the reset from Noble. Great play from ManRay. Now that's going to force out the reset. It's going to allow NikHaro to back in time as well as continue on the farming, because we do see the fact that Wubbn now having level 12 could potentially look for a power play if he backs to base, get that second relic online, and then continues more team fighting. Having that second relic is so important for Noble support.
So again, going to where I was talking before, Noble, like I said, making Enduro go the utility Ra build, which is not bad in and of itself. Like I said, I enjoy it. But without Ra going that glass cannon build that we saw ManRay go, my question is towards the late game. Who is Noble's person to look for to bring this heavy damage? Wowy, like I said on the Anhur, is great when it comes to early and mid-game, but he's certainly not one of the Raws and the Freyas of the world.
Noble is not looking for the burst damage. They're looking for the sustained damage. They have a lot of opportunity to keep poking with the Thor Raw and then resetting, healing up, looking for their second opportunity later on after that. Whereas we saw the last game, there weren't many opportunities for Noble to really lock down ManRay playing the Raw. Whereas this time around, Plazma playing the Bastet is very easy for him to dive that backline and escape into his own safety. So that's the difference between these two builds.
Gold Fury 50%, and the Wrath is going to be online for Whalrus, so Most Wanted have to play this aggressively. It's all in. Plazma on the backside jumps in for some damage, gets flipped backwards. Nice stun coming out of Mirage, going to land on 2. And Aquarius pops the ultimate. Gold Fury has been leashed, and Most Wanted chase Noble out of the picture.
The bombs, though, connecting. Wowy taking a lot of damage. The Divine Room is good. The snipe is going to hit NikHaro, but there's only one target. Now Whalrus is zoning on the backside. A lot of damage DayToRemeber is taking, but now forcing the reset. Wowy gonna be able to take out the solo laner. Now that's gonna be 5 on 4. The rest of the team really wants to be able to lock down NikHaro. Gonna be slowed for days. The knockup, though, gonna be good for now, but can he get away? No.
And Most Wanted lose another team fight. Noble, this Ra is just too straight. The Ra is straight up winning the game.
I would say that at this point, it's not as impactful as the last game, right? ManRay's Raw was more it was more montage play with the snipes, but the sustain in between waves, in between the team fights, as long as they were avoiding the Agni bomb stuns, then yes, this Raw has been making huge wonders. The healing done so far, already 11,337.
It's like super elite, right?
Super elite.
But what right there, I mean, it's exciting for me as a broadcaster because you're just seeing two good teams, right? Using two different flavors of the Ra, right? This is you get to see the aggressive glass cannon build come out from the Ra, and Most Wanted, again, ManRay on the Ra was leading the charge and enabling his team to win because they were just setting up for these giant burst laser beams. And because of the aggression, Most Wanted was able to win team fights. They were able to win objectives off of those team fights and then go ahead to win the game. Noble here on the other side are using a very different seasoning on their Ra. They're not looking for the setup into Enduro, but instead they're just sort of playing the team fight, and then when everything screws up, they retreat into Enduro's heal pool, and Most Wanted don't have that option, so they're able to just re-siege. In both cases, Ra is winning the game. by himself, but just two different sides of the coin.
It's also about the way Wubbn has been initiating these team fights for Noble, always looking for that pluck opportunity. Even if it is on NikHaro, they're abusing the fact that it takes a long time to get that heal back up from his ultimate. He doesn't really have the defense quite yet. Just now finishing off that height of the Urchin, building into some more defense. But now, Noble feeling very confident, was flirting with the idea between Fire Jump, and now looks like they're going to try to collapse into the mid lane.
I think they're aware that Aquarius has the Wrath available to him. He's had it for about 4 levels now. Wubbn's going to get caught out just a little bit, look for another knockup on the DayToRemeber, and then walk backwards.
Not really wanting to commit to the pluck onto DayToRemeber, because even if he does get caught there, once he gets flung backwards, the agility could come back out mid-air. He'll be back under the safety of his own team. And that's why Jing is just so important, especially against knockups, because with the fall split of Season 3, I think we've seen a lot of resurgence with the knockups. We've seen more Bacchuses, we've seen more Jing Weis, a few more Sobeks here and there, and that's been a huge important factor in all of Smite. That crowd control is one of the most important forms of the game, because once you get knocked up, once you're at the highest peak, you can't get back down immediately.
And, you know, it doesn't suffer from DR either, so just one of the stronger crowd controls in the entire game. Noble now looking to push up in the mid lane. You can see Most Wanted spread out. They only have 3 players here in the mid. Bastet looking for that split push, and that's the play option that I was talking about. Set up for the rod. Daryl's going to snipe. Not find a kill just yet. Wubbn serves up 1 player, and that's going to be the death of NikHaro for the 6th time.
Just like that, always being able to abuse that one primary target. Last game, it was Most Wanted abusing Anhur. This time, it's Noble abusing NikHaro. However, on the left-hand side, Plazma able to split push so far, getting that tier 1 tower, does have Jotun's Wrath and Titan's Bane's finish. Doesn't have Crusher, though, so it's going to take a long time. DayToRemeber, though, caught against the pillar. Another clean kill from Noble.
Just absolutely obliterated. Mirage going to go to the sky and look for a target in the back. It's ManRay, and he's gone. 10, 11 kills. Make that 12. Aduro puts a dozen on the board, and that's going to be the mid lane. Phoenix going down. Plazma is the only one alive. This could this? Is this?
No, they're not going to try to end off this. They don't really have the same kind of, like, they don't have the kitties, right? If they had the kitties, then they could tank the Titan, then maybe they could go for it, but that Titan's going to be so tanky. There's still 2 tier 2 towers, 2 Phoenixes. You'd rather go for the guaranteed Fire Giant at this point. You sacrificed your tier 1, tier 2 left side for the Phoenix in mid lane, and now you're going to be credited with this late game objective.
And Bastet not even going to think about it. Gets the tier 2s over there on the left side. Fire Giant free, 50 free. Noble able to pick up the fire belt and walk away. 21 minutes on the clock, 12 kills on the board, and a slew of gold. You're looking at 7,000 on the pockets of Noble. That's going to be a large lead for the SPL team. Looking to bring this one to game 3.
Especially having this Fire Giant, they should be able to get these last 2 tier 2 towers, get the Gold Fury. That's going to put them at about 12,000 gold lead. And off of that, they could start backing and finishing off their 5th and 6th items, trying to get these Phoenixes even that much cleaner. And the way they've been team fighting right now, it's just been so impactful. As long as they get the wards to prevent the Bastet split push, they should be in a good spot to really close it out cleanly without losing any Phoenixes of their own.
So we'll see how clean that's going to work out.
We see the Sentry Ward, though, on the left-hand side, the way Plazma was placing it. We see the Teleport is there, second Relic. We see the Crusher. This is the winning factor for Plazma, potentially, to make a comeback for Most Wanted.
I'm excited for it. Definitely going to be an interesting, spicy play if that does go in that direction. Noble pushing up here on the left side. You can see Bastet over there on the right. Keep an eye on that.
There she goes.
There she goes.
There she goes on the left-hand side. She has to look for the split push. She's going to be able to cleanly get this Phoenix, and that's going to be a 1-for-1 Phoenix. But now NikHaro caught in an awkward position to force the turtle away. The bomb stunts going to deter Wubbn a little bit longer. So now Bastet gets the Phoenix. Going to have to back off and try to defend.
Clean play coming out. 2 Phoenixes down for Most Wanted. Noble still pushing forward. Mirage going to go ahead. Everybody's attacking Aquarius.
Oh, that's
shots available, but just barely. Going to leave Aquarius alive, which is very unfortunate because the fountain is just there.
think that hit 3 people there. Beautiful snipe coming out of Aduro. Unfortunately, didn't get anything out of it, but that was not. Now, if that was
if that was
a raw, yeah, if I was about to say, if that was a raw that was being played by ManRay with that glass cannon style, that would have been a guaranteed kill onto Aquarius, maybe even a second kill onto a squishy target.
Yeah, we might have seen the 1 for the 2 for 1, but not going to be the case. Instead, there is a backing to base. And I love the fact that Plazma was able to get the Phoenix that matched the Phoenix that Noble gets, because now Fire Minions fight Fire Minions, and it's not going to be nearly as big as a problem for Most Wanted as it would have been normally.
Absolutely. This is a great play from Plazma. Unfortunately, though, he doesn't have another exposed Phoenix to really abuse at this point. There is a tier 2 tower on the right-hand side protecting that right side Phoenix, so he's going to have to commit the kitties there first and then look for the cooldown reset. So it's going to be a big timing window for Noble to really play off of this. Fire Giant will respawn in about 2 minutes for Noble. They still have that buff for an additional 1 minute to make more plays. They're going to start trying to group up and get that last remaining Phoenix on the right-hand side.
And, you know, that, again, going back to how we entered this game, that's the play option that I was talking about for Plazma. If Plazma was, you know, 5-0-1, I don't think we see that split push. Instead, I think we see Plazma stay in the team fight and look to use his damage and his aggression out to just exert dominance against Noble. Instead, he's down a little bit and the team's down, so he looks for the split push strategy. I love the different options and fork in the road that Bastet can give you. Mid Phoenix goes down as quick as it shows up. Right Phoenix, however, full strength is going to be the target for Noble, and this time Most Wanted going to bite back. Aquarius in a lot of trouble, and wow, we just shuts him down.
Just zoning a little bit too far. Now DayToRemeber going to get plucked back, trying to use the agility to buy some time going the opposite direction. Unfortunately, just not good enough. And now Noble are healthy. They have all 5 members standing, only 3 staying alive for Most Wanted. This could be the game deciding push.
Yeah, Noble's certainly going to look for it here, totally. Most Wanted got 3 players playing defense, and they're just not characters that can really seriously control the situation. Half HP on the Chaos Titan, ladies and gentlemen. Noble, they're stretching it. It's game 3.
Great comeback from Noble. Being able to bounce back after a loss in general is not easy, but this is why this is such a great thing to see the best of 3 between these 2 teams. Being able to see what kind of changes and adaptations they've been making. Like we mentioned before, the Raw and ManRay was such a big factor that you were thinking about them banning it, but instead I was thinking, like, if they're first pick, they could just take it themselves and go for the same exact style.
And, well, it was a very different style. The Aduro definitely made the Raw count. We saw the complete different, you know, the other side of the Raw coin. You can be very aggressive. You have a minute cooldown on a giant ultimate with 50 stacks on a Doom Orb, or y'all can just back up and heal and try it one more time. And I think that's the, well, first of all, that's the SPL meta right now, is that that sort of beneficial healing and re-sieging. And then, of course, you've just got the idea of just how safely Noble has had to play against some of the teams that have been a little bit more successful than them in the SPL. So Noble sticking to their strategy, and then everybody else on the other side.
And Aduro, the first game around with the ISIS specifically, he was just a huge factor in terms of being focused that whole game. Second game, it was NikHaro that was getting focused a lot, as you're getting focused right now. But either way, we now saw that Aduro was the big deciding factor in that second game, being able to make the adaptation. So I wouldn't be surprised here if we see Most Wanted take the first pick just to be able to keep going for the Raw.
Yes.